What's up, guys? For this episode, I had on Eli Yacinthe. If you don't know Eli, he is a fellow musician from Statesville. However, for the past 2 years, he's been attending Berklee School of Music in Boston, which is a very prestigious musical school. I'm very proud of him. He was an excellent guest. It was an honor to have him, and I hope you guys enjoy this episode. I'd also like you to go support Eli's music. He has music on Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube under Eli Yacinthe, ELIYACINTHE. Eli is a phenomenal musician. His guitar skill is amazing. His singing skills is amazing. His songwriting skills are amazing. And his mixing skills are pretty fucking good, dude. He has an EP and a few singles that were all recorded and produced in his bedroom. He has a few covers on YouTube. Probably he has a cover of The Dip that is my favorite cover. State Line is the name of the song, but there's also a Raphael Sadiq cover and a Stevie Wonder cover. They're all really good. On his released music on the streaming platforms, Do I Feel Too Much is probably my favorite. Bored and Missing You is awesome. Face of an Angel is awesome. And One More Night With You is also pretty awesome. He is a great musician and an even better person. So I hope y'all enjoy this episode. Thank you very much. Oh. Hold on. Eli has a link tree on his Instagram, Eli Yacinthe Music. Go check it out. And check out my link tree. Follow the YouTube. Follow the Instagram. Help me get some sponsors. Share this. Thank you. Bye. Enjoy.
Oh my god, he on X Games mode.
One of them is still going.
Hell yeah, dude. I'm stoked. I'm kind of nervous. This is the first time I've had a guest on in a hot minute.
It's gonna be great, bro.
So welcome to the pod, dude.
Yo, what's up? Thanks for having me.
You doing all right?
Yeah, man. Wait, I think I'm doing great, dude. How are you?
Pretty good. You know,
Yeah.
I actually don't know what that means.
This right here?
Yeah.
It's for these.
Yeah.
For your monitors. This is for the headphones. There you go. I was just hearing it come through there. It was like echoing it. I was like
I got that focus right, and I've been like, I just learned what direct monitor means. The
Mhm.
little
Yeah.
I don't know anything about any of that.
Yeah.
And fucking Ableton is daunting as hell.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude.
I've been on Pro Tools lately, man. The Pro Tools. I've been what's the word? Moved over. I was like on Logic for a while, and
Yeah.
I'm starting to love Pro Tools. It's
Dude,
cool.
So, are you finished with Berklee yet?
I'm not. I have one more year. So
Yeah.
I just finished this semester. I've got a summer semester and then one more year, and I'm
Yeah.
out.
Oh, hold that thought. I do want to say, plug anything you want to plug. Any, like a
Oh,
YouTube,
yeah.
a social media.
Yeah, I've got my Instagram is Eli Yacinthe Music. Same for my Spotify and my YouTube. It's all under Eli Yacinthe Music, and just released some stuff. So
Yacinthe. I've never known how to say your last name.
it's like Ya and then synth, like synthesizer.
Yeah.
Yacinthe.
I've always wanted to say Yacinthe.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that's good. I've heard, I've heard like somebody called me Yakatori one time.
Really? They
I've
put
heard
R in it?
everything, bro. I've heard everything.
What about Yacinthe?
Yeah, I get that one a lot.
Okay, so
Jansen.
yeah,
They throw an
dude.
N in there. Like, it's kind of wild.
But you're almost finished with Berklee?
Yeah, man. Just the one one last year, two. I got a summer semester, so 3 semesters left.
Yeah.
And I'm about to start the summer semester right now, but
Was it kind of culture shock to go there, being from Statesville? And like I know you'll hate what I'm about to say, but like I do think you're the best to come at Statesville.
oh, bro, thank you, man. That means a lot.
So was it when you got to Berklee? Was it like, wow, like these people are unbelievable?
Yeah. I actually, as far as like culture goes, it was a culture shock because Statesville can tend to like be a lot of the same people who think the same, look the same, and like one of the things I love about Boston in general, especially Berklee, is like I hear like 5 languages a day. You know what I mean?
Really?
So it's a beautiful thing, and I love it. And as far as the playing goes, actually, man, while there are like people there who blow my mind, I was more shocked to find like the level, like all different skill levels. Honestly, I think Berklee, more so than like skill level of playing, they look for like a specific type of person, because like the common denominator between all the people there is that like they're really passionate about music and love it. Some people are newer to it and like skill wise maybe not as proficient as others,
Yeah.
but it's like they're all like want to make it a career and like are like very, very devoted to it.
So when you audition, it's
Mm.
not just skill they look for?
No, they do. So half of it is the audition, and then half is the interview, which I always tell people who are like thinking about going there, I tell them that I think the interview is more important than the audition is.
I didn't know there was an interview.
Yeah, pretty lengthy interview, and like they really dig deep into like why you want to be there and like what you want to make out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Was you super nervous?
Yeah, I was pretty nervous. But actually I did it twice. The first time I auditioned was in 2018, right before I graduated from Statesville High. And I was just so immature. Like I was just, school was not my top priority at all. So I actually auditioned for Berklee. Sorry, it was not 2018. 2018 I graduated from Statesville High. And no, it was 2018. I graduated from Statesville High. I auditioned for Berklee, and my mom actually decided that like she wasn't ready for me to go to school yet, because she just didn't think I would like make the most of it.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't want you to be like flunking classes and stuff, and like I'm paying like this super expensive school. So I ended up not going. I stayed behind at Mitchell, and it turns out my mom was like totally right. Even at Mitchell I was like screwing around a lot and not taking classes seriously. Finally, after 3 years at Mitchell, I kind of got my shit together, and then I auditioned again.
Yeah.
And so here I am.
So Berklee was the goal even before you graduated?
Yeah. And actually, well, the weird thing was I didn't really want to go to Berklee at first. Like I had my heart set on Belmont in Nashville, which my mom had taken me there, and I had spent some time in Nashville with some mentors and stuff, and like I was like I was really interested, and I love that city, you know what I mean? And
yeah,
my mom was like, well, let's just go visit Berklee, like check it out and see. And we went to visit, and I was like hooked, man. As soon as we were there, I was like, this is where I gotta go. I saw the studios and the campus and all the people, and just the city, man.
Yeah.
This Boston is like such a cool place.
Have you gotten accustomed to the Boston accent?
Dude, I rarely hear them.
I guess, yeah, because you're on campus a lot, huh?
Yeah, but even then, like, when I venture outside of campus, it's not, like, super common, honestly.
Okay.
I think it also might depend on because I spend most of my time in Back Bay, which I feel like is, like, kind of a different area. So, I feel like it definitely depends on where you go.
Yeah.
Like, if you go to the southern part of the city, like, Southie, you know what I mean? Like, then you're going to get more of them. But I rarely hear them. The most I hear is from my piano player, Peter, who's got, like, very thick Boston accent,
Yeah. So actually, how old are you right now?
I'm 23. I'm going to turn 24 next month.
Dude, I was talking to somebody about this episode, and I guess you were 23, which is crazy, dude. That's so young. Like, I'm 30 now.
Really?
Yeah,
dude. I'm making my way there, dude. I'm making my way there.
It happens quick. I think the first time I saw you play was It might have been 2017.
Really?
It was when open mic was at Risto's,
Yeah. That was.
and Zach was doing a song, and you sat in with him,
Yeah.
and like your hair was real big, dude.
Yeah.
But your hair's still crazy, dude.
Yeah,
Your
dude,
hair-
it's long, man. It goes
Yeah.
like all the way down to my butt, dude. Like,
Yeah.
it's long. I keep it up a lot because it's a little wild, but yeah, that was just like a different time, man. I remember, and that's one of the reasons I'm like I owe it so much to this town is because like my dad, like originally I didn't want to play guitar. You know, my dad got me an Xbox.
Really?
No, my dad got me an Xbox. That's all I wanted to do. And then one day he was like, I'm going to teach you how to play guitar. And I hated it, bro, because it hurt my fingers and like all this and that. And I just wanted to play Xbox. And my dad kind of like forced me to play guitar. And like I hated it then, but now I'm so glad that he did, you know, 'cause
Yeah.
I can't imagine doing anything else. But I remember just like what really then like set it off for me was then when I started spending some time downtown and I saw like Tanya Wood, Wendy Wooten, you know, Josh Perryman, like all these people like playing gigs, and I was like, wow, this is so cool. You know? That's kind of what like the where I got the bug, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's one reason I feel like I owe it so much to this town that I like ever tried to pursue that kind of thing.
So for guitar, for you, like some people approach it with a discipline mentality where it's like, I need 2 hours a day, every day. Like Kyle K. I don't know if you know Kyle Kitstever,
Yeah, of
but
course.
he told me he tries his hardest to do 2 hours a day.
Mhm.
But for some people, it's just like they don't look at it like that because they go to sleep thinking about playing, they wake up thinking about playing. It's just passion.
Mhm.
So is it a little bit of both for you, or is it like discipline, I need to practice, or are you more like, I just can't wait to play?
Yeah, I was gonna say Kyle's a great guy. He we went to Mitchell together actually, and he just did a show. He played bass for the Donna Deads
Yeah.
at the show recently. So super cool guy. But
He's awesome.
I
I
wanted
love
to
him.
say, dude, it's really weird, man. I don't really practice, dude, and it makes me mad. I do practice, but it's I remember a time when it was like I would lock myself in my room for like all day and
Yeah.
just play, and like I don't know, for some reason it's weird. It's like I've been talking to a lot of people about this lately where I still have the passion for it and I want so badly to feel like fluent and like I'm like speaking through this instrument. It's been harder than ever for me to like be able to sit down and do some of this like practice stuff to try and get better. I don't know what it is about it, man. It's really it's an elusive thing. I definitely don't practice every day. There's some days where I end up playing, you know, like 6 hours, and then most days I just don't really play at all. I think it has to do sort of with now I'm studying music in school, so it's kind of like all I do all the time, and like I probably end up playing more than I realize. You know?
Yeah.
It's just like, but also sometimes it's just like when I get home, it's just like I don't want to pick up the guitar sometimes. You know?
Yeah.
And so yeah, I try to practice when I can. I found that I really learned the most from, instead of like any sort of structured practice or like doing scales or anything, it's just like picking up the instrument and like putting on records that I like and trying to play along with them, or even just trying to just transcribe what I hear in my head. Like I'll just sit down and like just try and hear these melodies and sing them and play them back to myself and just try to get familiar with the instrument. It's definitely been a long time since I've had like real structured practice, which sucks because like I don't necessarily feel like I'm fully taking advantage of, you know, like my abilities on the guitar to really like excel there. But it's it's a goal of mine, like something I want to do this summer now that I'm in less classes, is pick up the guitar more every day.
Were you born with a sharp ear?
I don't think so. I think it was more like, I think it was more just growing up as far as my ear goes, it's more growing up in the church with my mom and like, so all the hymns and stuff.
Yeah.
But my mom's a great singer, first of all. She's very, like, her pitch is really good. Yeah.
That's cool.
She has a beautiful voice, but also like, she was always really good at harmony. So when we sang hymns in church, she would never sing the melody. She would sing the harmony.
Yeah.
And I picked up on that. And that's where I got my first sort of underlying sense of like how notes work together in harmony. and I think that's where I attribute a lot of my ear to. And that's one of the things about Berklee that I think is the biggest takeaway, is like their ear training and harmony courses are just like so in depth, and have completely changed the way that I like listen to music and understand it. And I feel like I have so much more of it's just much easier now for my ear to grasp onto things and like understand what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's one of the things, even with like improvisation, where you're asking like practicing guitar. I think you can practice your instrument a lot, but at the end of the day, like if you don't like hear, like when you listen to something that you're trying to play over, if you don't understand it, it's going to be so much harder. And when I say understand it, I don't even mean from a theoretical aspect. I just mean like understand the feeling, like the sound, like, oh, I've heard that before. I know what like kind of feeling that is, like what like texture you're going to be using over that sound. You know what I mean? It's like much harder if like you've never come across it. So I think in a lot of ways, sorry, I'm jumping around all over here, but
you're all good, dude.
I think in a lot of ways, it's more of like for me in my playing, like listening to records and listening to other people play that I really like has been like far more, I guess, done more for like bringing out some originality in my playing as opposed to like practicing scales and stuff.
So singing was your first step into musicianship?
Yeah, well, really, I think it was more so like drums, because I've been beating on stuff since I was like so little, you know.
Yeah.
It's like my mom got me a little first act drum kit, and my
hell yeah, dude, those are so sick.
Yeah, dude, my siblings were all in band, so they did like drumline and stuff. And, always had friends over who played drums and would like show me. They have a friend, and I can't remember his last name. Sorry, he was just at the show this weekend. His name is Jeremy. Some people call him Bud, but he would come over to the house all the time, and with my siblings, and like show me some like paradiddles or whatever, and, like type stuff. So I think drumming was kind of my first, and I was never like super good at it, you know. But I think like my sense of rhythm came from there for sure.
Yeah, drums was the first thing that drew me in as well.
Mm-hmm.
So do you view yourself, like what do you view yourself as first? A guitarist, a singer, or a songwriter?
I definitely view myself as a guitarist first. That's where my love is, and like my sort of passion, despite the way I feel about practicing and stuff, like it is sort of like the thing that I want to be really good at, you know. Like, when I imagine like my like biggest dreams, it's like, you know, being like at this level of guitar playing, but I understand that honestly I think a lot of my like raw talent lies in my voice, which is always weird to me, and it's the thing that I get more compliments on than my guitar playing is my voice. Really? Which is always weird to me because like I never practiced singing, you know what I mean? Like I've never thought about singing. It's just been a thing that I've done. And when I say I never practice it, is really a lie, because singing is one of those things I do all the time. Like in the car, I've always like tried to imitate people that I like, you know, Stevie Wonder, Amy Winehouse, you know, Sarah Vaughan, like all these artists. Like I've tried to imitate like the way that they sing and their clarity and stuff. So it's something I've practiced a lot. It just never felt like practice. Yeah. I think it was more also a means to an end, because I knew I wanted to like play guitar and stuff, and especially when I think where my voice really started to get better was when I wanted to do gigs. Yeah. Because I knew if I wanted to play gigs like downtown and stuff, I was gonna have to sing, and that's where I started like using my voice more and more and more and more. So
even when you play live, the majority of the compliments are towards your singing?
Yeah, I would say so.
Really? I mean, your singing is awesome.
Well, thank you.
But whenever I see you play live, I don't want to downplay the singing, but and it might be because I'm a guitar player. The guitar playing stands out so much to me.
Thanks. I appreciate it. It's like, it's one of the things where, you know, I think it's sort of the human condition where it's no matter how good you get at like a certain instrument, the grass is always greener. Yeah. You always like are going to come off the set thinking about, you know, oh, well, I could have played better. I could have done this or that. Or for me, it's the frustrating thing is that I think I'm just not nearly as fluent on the guitar as I want to be. Whereas like I know
That's crazy to hear you say, dude.
Well, dude, I think it's because a lot of people come and they hear me from a perspective of like not hearing me for months, you know, maybe even a year.
Yeah.
Whereas like I'm sitting with these lines all the time. Every time I play, I hear them. So I know the stuff that I play, you know, I know the shapes that I use. I've heard it all. You know what I mean?
I feel the same way about my playing as well.
And I don't think that ever ends.
Yeah.
I don't think that ever ends. I don't think it ever ends. I think it's just when you arrive at a point where like you're okay with accepting that, but then also being thankful for the moments where like there are times when I feel like I break through for like 10 seconds, you know,
Yeah.
like where it's like for 10 seconds of my playing, I'm like, wow, I really feel like I was playing like from internally, you know, I was playing what I felt as opposed to playing what shape I knew I had under my fingers because I've done it 1,000 times before.
Yeah.
And it's hard to get to that point and to fully like just open up. And that's one of the things I love about the guys that I play with is that they seem to do that so easily.
Yeah.
Just like my piano player, my bassist, like my drummer, it's just like they play different stuff all the time and they're so fluent, you know. It's like I can tell that they've done this 1,000 times but it never gets old, you know. It never sounds like repeated, and you know, I don't know, it's just fresh.
Whenever I listen to like the EP or the singles, or I see the YouTube covers and stuff, it seems like you're not afraid of letting your bandmates shine.
Yeah, I try to, man, for sure, because I realize at the end of the day, like, you know, not that I would be nothing without them. It's not what I want to say, but more so just like the way that they elevate me, and especially like in the way that the band is right now. It's like I wouldn't even have to play at all for it to sound amazing.
Yeah.
And I fully understand that. It's like, you know, the fact that they let me sort of lead and be the front man is such a privilege because, you know, at the end of the day, like these guys could make beautiful, mind-blowing music without me at all.
Yeah.
You know, to some extent, maybe even more so. Not that like the music is, I don't want to say the like better, but like, whereas like, you know, if I weren't like playing tunes with them set, like these guys are top-notch improvisers.
Yeah.
Like, so that's why a lot of times when I throw a solo to one of them, I like to just step aside and like let them do whatever they want, because they will completely take a song off the charts.
Yeah.
And just go crazy on it. And like, just to be able to play with musicians like that, you know, like I definitely want to let them shine because they all bring so many different things to the plate, and I want to like, I feel like it would be sort of like an insult not to like to bring their individual talents into it, you know, and let them do their thing. Because I mean, it's like a resource that's there that needs to be used, you know. If it's like, I mean, how could I not? You know what I mean? Are
they improving? And the same question goes to you, but are they improving for every solo on every set?
Yeah, so with the band thing, it's different because I'm really of the school of like, I love like the old Stevie Wonder records and stuff, like that live band. But like I always say, like the unit mentality, where I want us to sound like, you know, a collective, like a whole, like not like a bunch of guys just like playing together, but like, you know, like we're creating a cohesive sound.
Yeah.
So we have it pretty planned out whenever we do gigs. Like, you know, Peter knows what song he takes solos on. Ollie knows what song he takes solos on. We very rarely stray from that, but it's something that I want to do more, especially like now that I'm getting more into like improvisational music, especially jazz. I want to do some more of that. But most of the time, like we know like who's gonna solo when. And,
yeah.
I think also it allows for like some smoother transitions that can be pretty cool when like people know their solos coming up, to just like fall straight into it. But yeah, it just kind of depends, you know. We did some this past weekend. We had some horn players from the area here, some of my friends, and we did some sort of went off the charts, and I would throw solos around to them and stuff.
So you write solos for your song? I mean, like, you know when you're gonna solo and for how long, but is that time period, is it improv, or is it like, these are my licks for this song?
No, it'll definitely be improv. I think from my perspective, like my playing, I think I definitely fall into playing a lot of the same stuff. While I am improvising, it's not, that's what I was saying about my own playing, is that it's not always where I want it to be, because I really feel like I'm bound to these shapes that I know on the instrument.
Yeah.
Um
I feel that so hard, dude.
yeah, it's
I feel
weird. Well, it's weird because like if you ask me to sit down and like you play some chords and you ask me to sing a melody over it,
Yeah.
I feel like I can make I feel like I can make pretty beautiful melodies on the spot that are just like from the heart, you know, like I'm just singing like what I feel. But as soon as I put it to, now I have to take this melody and transfer it from my mind and my soul into like these fingers onto this instrument, this
Yeah.
external instrument. I don't feel like I've fully made that connect yet. It doesn't come, and I think, dude, I think a lot of that is the problem, that I haven't done a lot of the technical work, you know, the scales, the intervals, you know, like understanding, because at the end of the day, I just want to be able to sing and feel like the guitar is just an extension of me singing a melody.
Yeah.
As opposed to thinking of like, where does this note relate to this one? Like, how do I find this note from here? You know, and that's like I watch my guys, and it's just like they're not thinking about it, dude. You know, they just, it's the instrument really is like a part of them when they play, dude. It's amazing.
Yeah, so I'm assuming you don't have like the fretboard memorized.
No, I know it's really bad actually.
I don't either. I don't either.
I know the notes on like both the high and low E string.
Yeah.
Because you have to when you learn chords, you know, and on the A string, because like that's where so many of the shapes are based from, you know, when you first learn like those chords. Other than that, though, I do not know the fretboard like well at all. It's getting a little bit better.
Yeah.
Now that I've been forced to read some at school, but nowhere near like where it should be, honestly. For having played guitar for almost 15 years now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What amp are you running through?
I use a Hot Rod DeVille. It was a Fender Hot Rod DeVille. It was actually given to me by a friend of mine named Ben Holbrook, who lives up in Wilkesboro, and who's been a big supporter of my music, and just a really close somebody I could confide in, and he gave it to me actually. So
that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and it's like my favorite amp. Like I love it. Sounds really good. Tube amp. He put some the speakers are some that he threw in there, but yeah, I've had that now for like 3 or 4 years, I think. So
yeah, I see you play that Fender a lot too.
Mm-hmm.
The wood grain Fender.
Yeah.
Is that an American Strat, a Mexican Strat? Like what is that?
It's an American Strat. It's I honestly don't even know what year it is, and I haven't really been using it that much anymore. Like, dude, I never play guitar anymore. I practice on it sometimes. I record on it because it gives me a different texture when I'm looking for, you know, a different sound, you know, with the single coil pickups.
Yeah.
But I don't even know, man. I think it's from I don't know what year it is actually. I got it here in Statesville at the pawn shop downtown, the Jewelry and Loan.
I remember you told me that, dude.
I got it for like $400. It's a nice guitar.
For $400?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What's the white guitar that you've been playing?
Yeah, that's my workhorse guitar. I love that thing. It's it is a Squier thin line telly.
Wow.
And I love it, dude. I saw it in the Guitar Center across from the Berklee Cap one day, and I was just like, yeah, some tax money had just come back, dude.
Yeah,
I
dude.
like, dude, that when the tax money hit, I was just like spinning left and right. But anyways, I saw it and I was like, yep, I'm gonna grab it. So I got it, and then I decided to put flat wounds on it. So I actually have flats on it, which is really cool because I like to kind of play like. Sometimes I kind of like to use like slide language. So I like to slide up and down the strings, but like I don't know how to use a slide.
Yeah.
So the flat wounds are cool because my fingers really can like just glide on it.
Yeah.
Not to mention that I use like I've gotten really addicted to I think it's Gibson that makes like a fretboard polish and like lubricant type thing that I always put on before gigs. So I like it to where I can just kind of like slide up and down the neck. And then I brought it here for like a break not too long ago and had it plecked up at
Plecked, what's that mean?
Dude, it's crazy. So they take your guitar and they put it in this basically a robotic like machine. It's like a glass box with like all these arms that move and stuff, and they put the guitar inside. So first it scans your guitar
Yeah.
down to the 1,000th of an inch.
Wow, dude.
Measurement, it measures the string from the fret at every fret. So then what it does is it shows you like where your guitar is, and then it shows you how close it's going to be able to get it to the perfect action. Like the strings get closest to the fretboard, but it'll show you like, you know, like if you go this close, it'll show you, it'll say you're going to have a buzz on this fret or this fret.
That's insane,
It'll show you all
dude.
that to the 1,000th of an inch. So then you go through and you pick, you know, where you want it and what looks the best for you. And then you take the strings off, and it'll go in and it will shave down every fret.
Holy shit. I had no idea this was a thing.
It'll shave down where every fret touches every string, and it'll shave it down to the 1,000th of an inch, exactly the height that it should be for what you set it up as.
Yeah.
So basically you get the most set up guitar that you can get, you know?
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. And once I got it plugged, man, that's when it really became like the intonation's great. So like it's perfectly in tune when I play all the way up at the top.
Yeah.
It's perfectly in tune when I play all the way down at the bottom. I mean, by a few cents, you know, like it's not audible when you get up, like if it is out of tune at all. But once I got it plugged, then it really became like my favorite guitar, my workhorse. I record on it, you know, I play all the gigs on it. But yeah, I got that done over here, and now I'm trying to. His name is gonna escape my mind. It'll come back to me, but he builds guitars, and he's here in town, and does really great work. But he has a Plek machine. I would definitely suggest. I'll send you his contact when I can.
Hell
but
yeah.
definitely worth it. So yeah, my rig right now is just my Hot Rod DeVille. Then I've got my Telly, and I've been running through a pedal called a Vimirum, which is a overdrive, and I'll just use a touch of that over. It's a really nice pedal. It's not mine actually. It's my friend Aaron's.
Yeah.
Aaron Larrere, one of my roommates. I use his little overdrive, and that's really all I use. Just a little touch of drive. And
I remember years ago, I saw you at Red Buffalo, and one thing that stood out to me was I don't think you was using any pedals that night. And the only thing you were doing, it blew my fucking mind, the only thing you were doing was either picking or not picking and turning your guitar up and down.
yeah.
And it fucking, and some people say tone is in the hands, which, you know, been back and forth on. But when I saw you play that night, I was like, tone might be in the fucking hands.
Dude, thank you, man. I don't know. I think the tone thing has been a journey for me because I didn't even know what I wanted to sound like, you know,
Yeah.
for a long time. And I think that's one of the reasons I moved away from the Strat is because like I really love the humbucker sound. And
Yeah.
that's one thing I've learned about myself. Like I love the humbucker sound. And then just with a little bit of enough crunch to kind of break it up, but not so dirty to where then when I go to comp with like with chords, I still like that clarity, you know, more like you'd hear like in an old Stevie Wonder record, you know, where
Yeah.
it's not really like overdriven and dirty, but it's like it's got some grit to it, but it's still you could hear each note individually kind of as you comp. But yeah, I think it's funny that you say that because honestly, I feel like my tone back then was so bad, like compared to now, like I just didn't know what I liked, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I kind of was just doing guesswork. Even for a long time, dude, when I first started playing with like a trio,
Yeah.
I was using my Strat, no pedals, straight into, I had a Fishman acoustic amp.
Oh,
And that's
yeah.
what I used, bro.
Yeah.
Like that's what with a little bit of reverb. But yeah.
Well, I mean, you see some people when they have 24 pedals,
Yeah.
and it's like, sure, they can get some cool tones, but there really is a lot that's just in the hands.
I think so. Yeah, I think in the hands and like understanding volume too, which is a huge thing like that I try to do with the whole band as a whole is, you know, being like aware of where you're sitting in the mix, which can be hard, especially when you're standing behind speakers in a room. But just overall, I think right now like so many bands are just so loud where it's like, especially live, you know, like we're playing in basements and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like we have to really be conscious of, especially with having, you know, like a 6-man, 7-man band sometimes. It's hard. We all have to be able to hear each other and like try and make the mix as good as I think the mix, like you can have somebody up front who's like a great mix engineer, like working the board, but at the end of the day, like the dynamics are really up to the band to like be sure that you're like all being heard and like the mix sounds cohesive. And I think that's one of the things I've learned about my guitar so much is I don't always try to push it out to the front so much, but I really do. I'm pretty aware of like where my volume is at all times, and even like, you know, because I have the pot on mine. So many of them now, they don't have like notches on them. It's just like blank, so you can't even actually see where you're at. Yeah. So I put a piece of tape around it and I mark it with Sharpie.
Wow.
So I know.
You don't just buy a new knob?
I could, yeah. I guess I could, but I just one day I was just at the gig and I was like, I need to be able to see where I'm at. Yeah. Like just looking down, you know, not having to like strum and see, because like I'll be in the middle of a song and maybe I have a solo coming up, so I want to come in at a certain volume. But if it's just a blank knob, I can't tell where it's gonna come in at. Yeah. So I just put tape around it and put notches on it so I can, you know, see where I'm at. But yeah.
The volume thing is important. There's one Statesville guy, and I will bleep this. Mm-hmm. He's a really good player, but the volume is unbelievable every single time. I will bleep his name. Mm-hmm. And he's good. I respect him a lot as a musician, but it's just always on 12, dude, every single time.
Yeah. And it can be hard, man, because a lot of times tone and volume are like directly connected, because, you know, like even my amp, like I gotta, if I'm really trying to get the full like warmth and tone out of the tubes and that whole situation, I've gotta push it to a certain level, you know, like if it's so low, like you might as well just be going through the board like without an amp, you know. It's like, so you gotta, there is some, it can, and I think also too, man, you know, when you played a lot of gigs, and dude, the hearing loss is a thing, man. And like, dude, some people just don't even know how loud they are, you know what I mean? So I think that could be a part of it too. It's just like playing so many gigs, so many loud gigs, you know what I mean? Like, can be like that. But
yeah, dude, I feel like my eardrums are fucked up just from listening to Skull Candies like on the school bus too loud. Just all my iPod turned all the way up. But it's bad, dude. I talk loud too. I talk loud. But your EP, dude. I was listening to it, and like, if I and this is just my thought, if I could play guitar how you play guitar, I would have way more guitar solos throughout the EP and the singles as well. And there is some really cool guitar playing, some really cool singing too.
Thank you.
It's a great EP. But yeah, dude, do you not want to flex that hard, or are you just tired of your own bag of tricks, like you were saying?
No, I think I love the duality of the live band situation and then my bedroom produced stuff. You know, that EP is like completely bedroom produced, like me at home. Yeah, man, that's all. Like, I think there might be a track on there with drums that we recorded at like my friend's house, but like it's all like, you know, just home studio stuff.
That's crazy. It sounds mixed and mastered.
Thanks, man.
Really well.
Thank you, dude. Thank you. I mean, same with the single that I just released. That was all recorded in my bedroom. I did that for a project at school actually, and just mixed it down and stuff. But
all on Logic Pro.
Yeah, all on Logic. Yeah,
damn,
everything's been on Logic so far. I got a lot of like Pro Tools stuff, like I was saying now. But
wait, is that what you said? Did I mix the two up?
No.
The Pro Tools?
No. I was using Logic before I recently switched to Pro Tools. So everything I've released to this point has been Logic.
Yeah.
But oh, actually, sorry, that's a lie. The first few songs I released were on Studio One. I don't know if you ever fucked with that. It's really great. It's kind of a cool cross between Logic and Pro Tools, actually. It's got like the kind of user friendliness of Logic, but like the more like, I don't know, like analog feel of Pro Tools, where it's like built like that. But no, I appreciate you saying that. With the EP, man, dude, that was just such a raw, I don't know. Like I was saying, I love the duality of the live band thing and the bedroom produced stuff. And with the bedroom produced stuff, you know, definitely with the live band stuff, like we're about to cut a live band EP, hopefully an album at some point, and I'll have like a bunch of guitar solos on that.
Yeah.
But with that, especially that EP, man, I think it was just more about the tunes for me. You know, it was about the feeling of the tunes and the lyrics and the overall just like feeling of that. It was like a whole story for me, and sort of just like me. It was kind of like a journal, you know what I mean? It was kind of
Yeah.
like my own little journal, this memory of this time in my life that I wanted to put into sound. And I don't know, man. I just didn't end up doing I don't know. I didn't really think about it too much actually with the guitar solo stuff.
Well, I am of the opinion that not every song needs to be complex and crazy.
Mm.
Not every song needs that. But I don't know that me, and I'm even older than you, I don't know that I would have the musical maturity to not flex on Fools, dude. But the EP is great, dude. The intro to Bored and Missing You, it's like 2 minutes of just like how do you even get how do you get those sounds, dude?
That's all acoustic stuff on that. The drum track that you hear in that is just like this loop that we found on Splice, like boom, chick, chick, type thing. And then actually that was one night when I was just hanging out like drunk with my buddy Ariel or something, and he played the bass on that, and he kind of had that overdriven sound, and he started doing this funky bass line, and I played some I think I played some chords behind it or whatever, and then I had this little pin, and I just decided to put it on my acoustic guitar and use it like a slide. Yeah, just a little pin on the acoustic guitar on the side. Now it's just going.
Yeah, dude. It sounds wild. I got fucking hyped when I heard it.
Dude, thanks, man. And it's such a goofy little thing, but like I love the creative aspect of music, man. And especially with that tune, it was like the whole idea of like being bored and missing somebody. And just like whatever the fuck. I'm just here at my house, like on some bullshit. Like I don't even know what I'm doing, just trying to distract myself. Yeah. And that was kind of the spirit behind the whole first. You know, I see the first half of that song as the bored and the second half as the missing you. You know what I mean? Where it's like I'm pouring out my feelings. And that was definitely the bored section where I'm just like doing whatever random shit I do on the daily when I'm not like busy.
Was every track finding drum loops? Because they don't sound acoustic, but they don't sound like a hip hop beat either, but they kind of sound like a beat, but they're still like, you know, like a live music, not live, but like your style of music feel. Like I was wondering where those drums had come from.
They were all spliced, man. I did so they were all either loops. I Feel Good Inside was the one that was I programmed the drums and the different like percussive sounds, but they were samples, so they were one-shot samples that I programmed into a loop, and so yeah, there were no live drums on that EP.
Was it all recorded in Boston?
No, actually most of it was recorded back home here. And then I went to Boston and finished it up. You know, I had all those songs down. Just when I was in Boston, you know, I'd finish the lyrics or finish the mixes, you know, type stuff.
The one thing I also liked is so random, but at the end of Do I Feel Too Much, there's like little wind chimes. Or like I don't know what it is. It reminded me of wind chimes, but it's such a nice little touch.
I appreciate it. That's one of the pieces I love so much too. Is because actually that was recorded.
It's so real.
That was sorry.
That song is so real.
Oh, thank you, man.
Hell yeah.
That song was recorded and written in one day. Like I did this thing where it was recorded. It's really special to me because it was recorded here at home, at my house in Statesville, and there's a room with a grand piano in it that I like to just hang out in sometimes, and that's where I recorded it. And what I did was I just wrote down the lyrics. Like I try not to think about it too much, like about rhyme scheme or whatever. Just try to really like, I was feeling that so much when I wrote it, you know.
Yeah.
I was in a pretty sad place, and I just sat down and kind of wrote the way that I was feeling out on the piece of paper. And I took it to the piano and I put it in front of me and I just started like banging on some chords, which I ended up using, you know, that song is like 3 chords or something, just like over and over. And what I did was I actually improvised the melody. So the original melody is improvised. I did like maybe like 3 or 4 takes.
Yeah.
And each time I improvised, and that last one was the one that I ended up picking, and then I built around that. So after then I went in and added all the harmonies that you hear around the main melody and
Hell yeah.
stuff. Those were added after I improvised the melody just to kind of accentuate it, you know. And then at the end it's just nice because I love I let that chord ring out, and I let it ring out like until it just completely fades out. And so you get to hear all the room sound and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I love it because when I have headphones on, like it feels like I'm sitting in that room, you know,
Yeah.
where I recorded it.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, you hear the cars pass by and stuff. So it's a cool tune for me to listen to when I'm away from home because it really takes me back, you know.
Yeah.
And the wind chimes that you're hearing are these little they're those little like, they look like little tiny cymbals and they're on like a string, and you
Okay.
can like hit them together. And it's just something that I remember my mom always, when I was growing up, had a basket on top of the piano at our house, and it had like, you know, those little flutes, you know, the little
Yeah.
like that I never knew how to play, but just a bunch of instruments that I used to fuck with. And that was one of them, was we had all these little sets of cymbals. And so at the new house now, we still have that same basket. So I was looking for something to just add kind of to it. So I put some of those little like just chime sounds.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah.
What was it? Am I thinking of a different song? There was a solo at the end of one of these songs
Mhm.
that had a sick ass guitar solo. I can't remember if that was on the EP or one of the.
It was probably One More Night with You.
I think so.
It was probably One More Night with You, that guitar solo that I did.
Was that improvised when you was
Yeah.
recording it?
Yeah, that
That's
was
tight.
Thank you, man. I think there were a few little licks in there that I knew that I liked over it that I threw in, but most of that was improvised.
Yeah. Dude, whenever I listen to the EP or any of the singles or like even the covers too, or see you play live, there's like, especially for your fucking age, there's an amount of like musical maturity. Like, do you think you got that from growing up in the church or like having like your mom being a singer? Like you cover Stevie Wonder, like where does that come from?
Oh, I guess as far as like like my musical taste, like with the songs that I like and
Not
stuff.
just that, but I mean, yes, that, but also like when like these songs that you record and release, they're so tasteful and they're so refined. It's not like it's not over the top. It's like I was saying, like if I had that skill, I would probably flex it too much, even though not every song fucking needs that. Like there's like a maturity, like a wiseness to it, where like you know how to make a good song and be like, this is it. It doesn't need a crazy fast heavy solo. Like it doesn't need anything crazy.
Yeah, I appreciate it. As far as that goes, I think it is it does have a lot to do. It was a learning process, you know, like I did a lot of gigs, you know, when I was growing up. Like I did a lot of, just when I started playing solo around town, and sort of learning what it meant to like try and make beautiful music without being, you know, like flashy or anything, just because a lot of the times I was playing background music at like the bar or a restaurant or whatever it may be. So I wanted to do something that would like move people and like get people's attention, but at the same time not be like so in their face, you know, just like what are like the core parts of this song that make it beautiful. And like and then also, yeah, I think it is like related to the records that I grew up listening to. And you know, I owe a lot of that to like my mom, who showed me like, you know, actually my mom didn't show me the guy I was about to say Jim Croce, which we have a member from our church named Gay Shaver who actually put me on to Jim Croce. But you know, James Taylor, some of the stuff I used to grow up listening to, John Mayer, who like is a whole thing. Like I had a John Mayer phase. I have my own qualms with him as a person, you know, like it is what it is, but he's a great songwriter and I can't deny that. And I think it's just a lot of like Stevie Wonder, you know, like the stuff that I grew up listening to was very like put together, like with that sort of that sort of tightness, and that's kind of what I got inspired by.
Yeah.
So.
Whenever you listen to music, what stands out to you the most? Like for me, I love a good drum groove and I love vocal melody,
Mm.
especially female vocalists. But when you listen to music, what's your favorite aspect of a song?
Definitely, I gotta say it depends on the song, but a lot of times it is the groove, and that
Yeah.
includes like the bass too. I love the bass. The bass is like a huge passion of mine. Like I love to play the bass. I love the way it sounds and just the power that it has. And whenever there's a good bass line, a good groove, that really draws me in. I think also harmony, just because like you fall into this thing, it's learning more about harmony is a beautiful thing, but it can also do this thing where once you've heard the sort of cliches of music, there are so many um chord changes that are like in a million songs.
Yeah.
And like you start hearing that and it kind of like can take you out of it sometimes when you start to get in that critical mind, especially because I won't lie, like I spent time around a lot of people who were like that and kind of instilled that in me, where I have a particular friend who I spent a lot of time with in the formative years of my music kind of career, and they are an amazing musician and know so much about like the harmony side of things, but it led to them kind of being like, oh, I've heard that before.
Yeah.
Like it could be something really beautiful and they're like, oh, I heard that before, like that's nothing new. And it kind of rubbed off on me to a certain extent, which I hate, because I try to take everything for face value, and when I hear something beautiful, like I want to be able to see that beauty without being like, why does something have to be like super complicated or different to like still sound really nice? Like
Yeah.
you can play like, there's so many chord progressions that you hear in like a billion songs, but like it just still doesn't mean that it's not a beautiful chord. It's used in a billion songs for a reason, and I think harmony is one of the first things that I listen for, but it really depends on the song, man, because there's so many things about different songs that catch my ear, and I think that's where one of my strengths lie, is that when I do hear something different that I love, I latch onto it immediately. And like pretty much every song I've ever written, I can go back and like show you a song that I was listening to heavy at that time.
Hell yeah.
When I recorded it, that really influenced the sound of that song.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it'll or a lot of times multiple songs, like I was really inspired by this key sound, or this groove really inspired me.
Yeah.
Also, wouldn't be especially now, like my influence, there's no way I couldn't mention like D'Angelo, which is one of my biggest all-time like inspirations in like writing harmony, grooves, like all that kind of stuff.
Do you have a band or artist that you love that people would be surprised to hear that you love? Like me, like I kind of really like Doja Cat and Slipknot.
Yeah.
People might not guess that about me. Do you have any artists like that?
I gotta think. I feel like I definitely do. Maybe more so like songs, like I love a lot of different stuff. I love the Cranberries. I love there's a song, it's called Kiss Me by Sixpence None the Richer, and it's like really corny.
Hell yeah, dude.
Really corny, like from every 90s movie ever. I love that song. I'm trying to think. I know there definitely is, man. I listen to a lot of different stuff, so.
Yeah. Do you and your band get along pretty well?
Yeah, man, all of us, dude. And we're getting closer and closer, There's definitely like times when it's stressful because just trying to make it all work is a lot of work on my end. And, I think a lot of times that's one of the more isolating things about doing what I do, is that I don't want to at all say that people don't see the work that I put in and like appreciate it, but it can be really hard sometimes when not everybody sees what I do behind the scenes, like how many hours, like this weekend, like we came to do these 2 shows in Statesville, and like just like the amount of hours that I put into that show, whether it just be like reaching out to people to try and get people to come out to the show, like getting a poster made, like coordinating, where I'm gonna get, everything from like where the mic, like can this person bring mics, I need to rent this from this, I need to rent Maine. So like as soon as I land from the airport, wake up the next morning, I got to run to Concord or Charlotte to get the mains and then come back and grab the keyboard from this friend. And I'm so glad to have so many people helping me like that. This weekend, like so many people lent me stuff to use. But like, it can just be a lot, especially with like the promotion side of things, like, and I understand that I am the front man and like nobody's going to promote as much as I'm going to promote. And I think that's been one of the biggest sort of challenges I've had with running a band is that these guys are all really busy. They're all in school full time, just like me. And not only that, but they're also playing in other bands.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty much responsible for this band. And I think there's a different dynamics in a lot of different groups. In some bands, like all the members of the band kind of share the weight of stuff. And I don't feel like that is one of these bands.
Yeah.
And not to say that that's a bad thing, because in the places like that where I feel like, it would be nice to have that other aspect, it's like, I feel like these guys totally make up for it in their like abilities.
Yeah.
Just because of like the level of the guys that I'm able to play with. But that also means that they're going to be busy because they're playing with other people as well and doing all these things, and they have their own careers going. And so
that's a lot of guys to orchestrate too.
Yeah,
it's like
it is.
7 or 8.
Yeah, it's 6. Been 6 in Boston. We did 7 here. Sometimes 8. I'm trying to add a trombone up there. So like, it just kind of depends on the gig. But yeah, we all get along, man. Like I love these guys. I see them as my family. And anytime there is a problem, I definitely feel like they make me feel comfortable enough to bring it up, and like, anything that's there, like we work through, and
Yeah.
it's been fine. And these are guys that I really hang out with while I'm in Boston. Like, these are the people that I'm like drinking with on Friday and Saturday or whatever. Like, so
that's really cool to have, man, a band that you can get along with.
Yeah.
Also, I hate that I missed those Red Buffalo shows.
Yeah,
I had to work
dude.
those nights, dude. I'm fucking.
No, man.
I wish I could have went out there.
We'll be back, dude, for sure. We'll be
Yeah.
back.
I bartend, so it's like every Friday and Saturday I
Yeah.
work. But if I ask off in advance,
Right.
I can definitely get a weekend off.
Yeah.
Did y'all charge $20 at the door?
We did, yeah.
Dude, that's the way to do it, dude.
Yeah.
Is that like just the next step from playing shows for free to not just doing it?
Well, man, I'm glad that you asked about that, because this is one of the biggest challenges. I mean, first of all, the world is so expensive that we live in right now.
Yeah, dude.
Second of all,
We were just talking about that when you got
yeah,
here.
exactly. Second of all, like, I know from the perspective of a lot of people, like, they could think that I'm just sitting back and like racking up money, which
Yeah.
is far from the case. I mean, like I said, alone with this show, like, if I with this show, if I actually sat back and mapped out like how many hours I spent on this show, it's got to be definitely over like 30 hours that I spent on just this show, this weekend alone. Probably more than that, man. Honestly, that didn't even sound like that much. For like, because I announced it a month in advance, and I was planning it even 2 months before that.
Yeah.
Just calling like Joe, getting the dates ready and stuff, like, and then all the practices, and then we flew down here and stuff, like. So I mean, there's that, number one, the time that so even if I did, let's say that this past weekend I made like even like $600 from those 2 shows, like hourly, that once you divide that up, it's like $5 an hour maybe, but then the fact is, man, like, I didn't make money this weekend, like, at all. Like, we flew down here, that's money. We flew down here to come to Statesville, and then I'm paying 6 guys in my band,
Yeah, dude.
for both the nights. I had to rent gear, I had to pay somebody to run the sound, I had to pay 2 opening bands, one for each night.
Yeah.
So that's like, it's a lot of money, man. It's a lot of overhead. And some people, bat an eye at like the fact that it was $20, and like there were even like people complaining about the fact that it was $20 like at the door, like people, and honestly too, like, I get it. Like, if you don't know who I am and you just pull up and it's like, oh, $20 for this bar to get in, like, I don't even know who these guys are.
Yeah.
I understand why you can feel like that, but at the end of the day, like, it's not the fact that I want to like make all this money. It's just like, I want to be able to not lose money, and I want to be able to do these things. So, and also to, Um, you know, I love the sound that we have, and I think it's unique, and I see the value in it, and I feel like we're worth $20, especially with an
Oh,
opener too, you
absolutely,
know.
dude. It's absolutely worth $20.
And I truly like believe in this, and that's been one of the biggest things about trying to do the music thing is, it's not anymore. It's really not about the music anymore, man. Like in this industry, it's so much about like trying to convince others to see the value that you see in your own music.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you can know you have something special, but it's all, and I hate to say this, but like, dude, the world is so monkey see, monkey do,
Yeah.
And like, if somebody is convinced that something's important, then like, they will place value on it and they will like pay whatever, like it's not necessarily about the quality of the product. It's just about like, do the masses like agree that this thing is worth something?
Yeah, dude.
And in the music industries, that's especially true, man, because I know like so many artists that are like some of my favorite, most inspirational artists ever are like, not even doing like much more than I am, like as far as like their career goes, like they don't have many streams, they aren't able to tour yet,
Yeah.
and they're making like amazing music. So yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like not about, it is about the talent, but like you just said, there's so many talented people who aren't making a living.
Mm-hmm.
And, the way to get around that is to just really build an empire on your own. And one of the beginning steps is start to do things like charge $20 at the door.
Yeah. I think it's so true. Like what they say is like the type of gigs that you take are the type of gigs that you're gonna get.
Yeah.
And like that's one of the reasons I stopped playing at restaurants, man, was because dude, I used to make bank playing at restaurants. I used to make way more playing music than I did.
Yeah.
When I used to play like downtown or whatever, like, I would charge like $50 an hour for like to the restaurant or wherever it was I was playing. A lot of times, dude, and then I'll play for 3 hours. I would a lot of times end up making more from tips from people coming out than I did from the paycheck.
Yeah.
So I would go home with like so much money. Then I'm not paying anybody else. This was solo gigs. I used to be making like way too much money for my age, dude. And like the thing is now it's like dude, I could still be doing that.
Yeah.
And I could still be putting aside a lot of money, but it doesn't fulfill me because the fact of the matter is when I play, and I don't want to hate at all on people who like play at restaurants and stuff. I did that for a while and I had a lot of fun doing it. But right now, like where my heart is, it's like people who come out, it's not to say that you won't get people who come out and they love your music and they really like it and they want to support you.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, people didn't come to hear your music. People came to eat at this restaurant.
Yeah. Some people
came
got
to
their
drink at
fucking
this
back
bar.
to you and stuff.
Yeah.
To eat.
And dude, the way that feels, man, it's just
It
like
does not feel
when you
good.
feel just like background music and you feel like you know in your heart like you have something to say and you have something, to share through your music. And to just feel like, like I was saying, like how the industry is like convincing other people to see the value in what you do.
Yeah.
When people walk into a restaurant and see somebody playing there, they say, oh, cool, there's live music here. There's no value placed on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like they will talk over you. They don't care, But the minute like you put a price on the door, like now people are coming in to see you and sitting down and listening to your music. And it's all a mental thing, dude. It doesn't mean that, I'm playing any better than like, somebody else who's playing in a restaurant. Like there's probably so many people with just as much talent, like still playing in restaurants and stuff. But it just it felt disingenuous to me. And as much as it was like a good financial situation, it wasn't like good for my own like heart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
I feel like people also will only complain for the first 2 or 3 times that you have a door charge, and then it'll just be the standard.
yeah.
It's the Eli band is $20.
Yeah. And like, I think especially now, dude, like I'm about to graduate, so I got to make a career out of this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to pay bills and whatnot, and I don't know, man. I just think it's time for me to start doing that. And even up in Boston, it's funny because like we'll charge like, I don't know, like $20 for like 3 bands or whatever for a night. And some of my friends have been joking around saying that like I've raised the price at Berklee like since I started asking for
Yeah.
more money. But it's like, dude, like, like take Boston for example. First of all, like we were talking about, Boston's one of the most expensive cities to live in, rent wise and food wise in the U.S.
Yeah.
And but then like if I want to play a gig in Boston that's across town, I gotta Uber the gear. I don't have a car. That's can be, dude, I could spend easily $60-$70 a night in
Hell
Uber.
yeah, dude.
I got to get an XL to get all this stuff in there. Then I got to pay all the guys, pay all the bands, pay the venue sometimes depending if I'm renting the venue or not. So it's
And
just
like
a lot, man.
you can't. It's hard to practice being a musician and have band practice if you have to work 60 hours a week to live. And like people say they want to support artists, but like when it comes down to it, like do all people want to support the art? So like you do have to make a living, especially if you want to pursue this.
Yeah.
And you have the talent to do so. So it's
Thanks.
like, yeah, I'm not mad at that at all, dude.
Yeah.
I'm actually glad you did that. I think that's a fucking cool move.
Thanks. I just think like nobody's gonna, not to say nobody, but most people aren't gonna be able to see the value in what I do if I can't see the value in what I do. And if I just play shows for free and stuff, then I'm gonna keep getting free gigs.
Yeah.
That's the kind of gigs that are gonna find their way to me. And
it's hard to maintain that.
yeah. And like I said, dude, it's not even like I'm making a lot of money. You know what I mean? Like I really don't. I'm gonna lose money from this weekend, and I'm okay with that. I love doing what I do.
Yeah.
Like it fulfills me. It makes me happy that people are coming out to hear me and to hear my, I can play my original music, and like it's just a different energy. It's a different vibe than like being a background somewhere,
Yeah.
which is nothing wrong with that. Like I said, it's just not for me anymore. So
I'm glad Joe let you do that as well.
yeah. Joe Bondi at Red Buffalo, like they've been so supportive of me, and
They're
like
the best.
my whole career, and I really wanted to do the shows there this time because that's where I cut my teeth, like just gigging a lot when I was growing up. And so
Was you able to see Lil Haley?
I wasn't, dude, because she graduated this past Saturday, so she was out of town for the weekend. But yeah, Haley Holt and Holt Up,
Hell yeah.
Darren over at Red Buffalo, Haley Holt, great people, some of my close friends here in town, and
They're
have
the
been
fucking
so
best,
supportive.
dude.
Yeah,
They really are the best.
yeah.
So what are some of your biggest fears and insecurities in music? Not necessarily as an artist, but being in music in general.
Well, I think insecurity wise, money's definitely a big one because there's no handbook on like how you're gonna be successful and like pay your bills with music.
Yeah.
And how you're gonna grow, and especially in an industry that's changing as fast as music is, because it's changing so fast. Like 20 years ago, even like, dude, people still sold CDs. Like people sell CDs now, but like, dude, that was the norm. And like everybody had CDs. That's what they did. CDs, T-shirts, like. And now people do that, but it's just like it's not the same anymore.
New cars don't even come with CD players anymore.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Streaming is changing the world of music as we know it. Musicians are getting paid less and less. And also too, it's this weird thing where it's like people can consume so much music. So whereas for instance, like somebody 20 years ago might have bought a CD and become a really big fan because they're going to listen to the whole CD.
Yeah.
Even if it's not in one sitting, they'll have it in their car, and over a period of time will have listened to your whole CD.
Yeah.
Not only that, but they paid, $15-$20 to get it.
Yeah.
Whereas now they're paying 0.0003 cent per stream per song that they listen to of your song. But not only that, because they're listening to it through like a playlist based sort of like algorithm, they'll hear one of your songs in passing and they might like it, but the fact is, like, even if they add that song to a playlist, it's really much more rare than you might think that they actually go in and listen to the rest of your music.
Yeah, dude.
So it's so much harder to like build a fan base in that area. That's one of my insecurities with the industry as a whole. Insecurities like with my own music is definitely just like I'm changing, man. I'm becoming a different person, and like I want to be really personal with my music.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about all these things, but it's hard because it's a small world, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And especially when I come home, it can be really weird because I have to then take into account that I'm like playing for my family, like people who have known me since I was little. And not only can that just be awkward and stuff because of the stuff I'm talking about in my music, whether it be my relationship with sex or substance or whatever that may be, but also just because as much as like people I know, like a lot of people have known me since I was little, love me, it's really hard for people to see me through that change.
Yeah, dude.
You know what I mean? Like it's really hard for people to like say, okay, this guy has grown now. Like he's not the person that he was before. You know, even people who knew me like 5-6 years ago, like people don't always like to see you change.
Yeah.
And that can be really hard when it's like, I want to come back into this place, especially having been somewhere as diverse as Boston, where, you know, I live in such an open-minded place, and I live in a place of such diversity and like learning, and I'm always learning about the world. And then to come back here and it can feel like it never changed, you know, like
Yeah.
I just got back and it's like the same thing. And you know, or I try to explain something to somebody, or like, you know, or like a lot of the stuff I try to post pretty genuine stuff about how I'm feeling, you know, whatever it may be, funny videos, you know, and like people can be pretty judgmental of that
Yeah.
stuff because like, you know, a lot of people have this vision of what my career is supposed to look like.
Yeah.
And if my career doesn't look the way that they envision it in their mind, you know, a lot of people, especially like here from back home, who've known me since I was little, have this vision of me being this like clean cut, you know, like dress up nice when I go to perform, post like the most professional sort of content online. And that's not me, you know. And at one point, maybe that's what I thought I was going to be. You know, I used to wear like a jacket and dress shoes when I played, you know, and that was kind of like my thing. And now I'm more moving into like a more, you know, I just want to be myself. I want to have fun. I'm a fucking goofball. I like, you know, I just like to speak my mind. So it can just be weird, man. That can make me feel really insecure. Luckily, like, I feel like I've had enough self-love to like push myself into that and to like, regardless of what other people think, like move forward the way that I want to move. But it still can be hard, you know, especially when I come home.
That's beautiful. And also that is a big hump as an artist,
Mm-hmm.
is just getting past what other people think or people's expectations.
Mm-hmm.
And all the songs that are on Apple Music and Spotify, they're
Mhm.
so vulnerable, dude.
Oh, thanks.
You're really putting your heart out there with those songs. Like, I don't think I listened to a single song that wasn't about love or heartbreak.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like, I love the whole love and heartbreak thing. It's like, it's a very, you know, common sort of theme of like a lot of music, but it's actually something I want to move away from. But it's hard because like, it's so easy to write about, dude.
Yeah.
When I'm heartbroken or I'm in love, like it's so easy for me to write a tune. It just come. I don't know how to explain it, but I do think with some of this new stuff, some of the stuff I've got on the album, it's so much more about, you know, my spirituality and, you know, my fears for the world as a whole, like regardless of my romantic relationships, but just the way that the world is being ran, and just like I don't know, I just feel like there's so much more that I want to say other than like, you know, I'm in love with somebody, or,
Yeah.
but I know I'll always like have that too. But
And I'm not mad at that stuff. Like, I think it's so relatable to everyone. And I know if I feel like especially heartbroken, that I don't feel like being creative as much.
yeah,
So when people can tap that heartbreak into creativity, I'm really attuned to it and I'm inspired by it.
yeah, man, that's definitely one of my safe places. Like when I get my heart broken, like it can be, I don't know, man. I just feel a lot, dude. Like, and I'm not to say that other people don't. It's just, it can be this like huge buildup, and music is just a huge release for that with
Yeah.
me. And especially being able to say what I want to say, I feel like a lot of times I can say it better through like music than I can through like trying to explain to this person. And it gives me a lot of closure too in situations where I feel like, you know, I don't know, where I might have gone through something with somebody and feel like, you know, feel like I wasn't able to get the closure that I would have wanted to get directly through them. I can get through like saying these things in this song. That was a huge part of like Something Real from the Heart. Like that whole EP was like that, you know, it was me like finding closure and expressing my own feelings in this sort of like, you know, diary of music that's like, this is how I feel, you know, this is what's up, and try and move on as best as I can from the situation, you know.
Yeah. And I resonate with that a lot too, because I also feel a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like as artists too, like an artist in general can kind of internalize shit like real heavy.
Yeah.
And yeah, dude, so I resonated a lot with that EP. And the singles too. But you're working on a new
Thank you.
album?
Yeah, the Run Away With Me is a single that I just released not long ago, and it's the first single that I'm releasing from the album. So I'm gonna release like 4, maybe 3 singles. I don't know. I'm ready to release the album, man. It's time. I got a lot of new stuff I'm working on, whereas this album is a lot of stuff that I've been working on over the years. Some of it more recent than others.
Yeah.
But so the album's gonna have almost 15 songs on it. If
Full
not 15,
LP, dude.
if not 15, yeah. So I'm gonna do that song, and then June 7th, I think, I have a song called Swananoa song coming out.
Yeah.
And then maybe 2 more, maybe 1, and then I'm dropping the album.
Hell yeah.
So yeah.
Do you have like a time estimate on it or no?
Yeah, I would like to do, I mean, definitely the next, like June 7th is the next single.
Oh yeah, you said that.
And then a month later, and then if I do another one a month later, then I gotta see how much of like the finishing touches I can get on the album done. But like, I would like to say after the last single that I release, whether it's 3 or 4, I want it to be like no more than 2 months after that I dropped the album.
Hell yeah.
So I would say, you know, we're looking at the next maybe 4 months.
Yeah.
I would like to have it out 5 months, maybe 4.5.
That's so fucking sick.
Yeah.
I wonder how much it costs to make like 100 vinyl of your own album.
Yeah, I think you can actually get it done fairly like for a reasonable price.
Yeah.
We're actually doing a live to vinyl recording
Really?
in New York, yeah, in July. Yeah.
That's sick, dude.
So
I love a good vinyl.
What we're going to do is like so we go into the studio and we actually will take pre-orders.
Yeah.
So
you got to let me know when that pre-order goes up, dude.
We'll go and what we do is we do one song. So like, let's say you order a pre-order.
Yeah.
It's direct to vinyl. So let's say we sell 25 pre-orders. We got to record the song 25 times.
Oh shit.
So you're like say that you get like you do a pre-order.
Yeah.
Like I could do a shout out to you on you, and like I'll say like this is your take. Like
that's
we did this
sick
take
as
for you.
hell, dude.
Yeah. So it's like each one is like its own fingerprint, its own take of the song that we do. So it's pretty cool. It's like
That's
direct to
super
vinyl.
tight.
There's no digitalization at all. It's just straight to the vinyl.
Damn, dude. Yeah, I do love a good vinyl. I have a record player.
Oh, nice.
I'm hoping Danny J puts her album on vinyl.
Yeah. When is that coming out?
I don't know if she's coming out with a new one, but she has one that is out.
Okay, cool.
And there's one song that's my favorite that she did on American Idol, but I don't remember the name of the song. But it's fucking great, dude.
Yeah.
She's awesome.
Yeah.
What else was I gonna say? Is partying pretty prevalent on Berklee campus?
Oh yeah, man. On the weekends, dude, there's a lot of house shows. You know, house shows have been one of like my favorite things about being there. It's just like I love like playing venues and stuff, but there's something about just like a dirty basement.
Yeah, dude.
And with a bunch of lights, and it's just packed, sweaty with a bunch of kids, man. Like it's the best. But yeah, we love to party up there on the weekends, and especially Berklee's such a demanding school, like time wise. We all gotta let off some steam, and there's a lot of house parties, house raves, and stuff that we like to do. So,
dude, the party scene is so interesting because I truly feel that as a young person, it's important to go through that, especially in college. And I also feel like as an artist, a lot of inspiration can come from those beautiful times of partying with your friends. But some people, obviously, as we know in Statesville, some people let it get the best of them. So, like, is it hard for you to find the balance in that? Or is it just like a natural thing for you where it's like, yeah, I party sometimes and it's cool, and then I do my music thing?
Yeah. I feel like I have struggled with it some in the past, more so than now.
Yeah.
I think it's just come with age for me to sort of get to a point where I have a little bit more self-control, you know? As far as like you know, back in the day, like I used to smoke. I don't smoke anymore or have a problem with like people who smoke like at all. I think it was a good thing for me at one point. Then became a thing that sort of brought more anxiety into my life than anything good.
I'm right there with you.
And I think with like that, dude, with sex, with partying, they've all been things that have been really easy for me to like go to in times when I felt like there was like nothing else for me to do.
Oh, dude, I get
like,
addicted to anything that feels good.
Exactly, man. I'm definitely one to like run towards pleasure. I think that I have gotten older and sort of just been through it a little bit, you know, like I definitely have more to learn, but I think I'm at a healthy point where I can kind of understand like some things can serve me short term, but like there's other things that are more sustainable and are going to serve me in the long term. You know, like taking care of my spirit, you know, taking care of my like mental health. So I think I'm in a good place right now. You know, I can. But definitely on the weekends, bro, like Friday, Saturday, like all my friends and I, like we're trying to party. Like we're trying to go get drunk. We're trying to like have a good time, you know. I think there's also like a balance with like how far you take it because, you know, like there's definitely nights when I get like really fucked up in Boston, you know, whatever I mean, like hanging out and partying. But that's not like super common for me. You know, I'll have some drinks with my friends and get a little drunk or whatever. But then I go to bed at like, you know, whatever, like 2 or something. And I'm fine. That's good. Get up the next day. But definitely, like, I run towards pleasure a lot, man.
That's a healthy way to go about it, too, is just the moderation thing. Is just knowing, like, sure, like, you might get pretty drunk on the weekends, but, like, it's not every day.
Yeah, and also...
Which is where my mind goes. Yeah. That's, I have to fight that. Like, I can fight it. It's not like I can't, but I definitely have to. Yeah. Because my brain will be like, just a couple tonight. And then the next night... just a couple tonight, bro. Man. And the next day, today was a hard day, bro. Just a cup. Like, that's where my mind goes with drinking and smoking weed.
Yeah, I'm the same with drinking, man, where it's like, it's so easy to do. And like, but I think, you know, I've just kind of learned, like, I see like the cons in it more now. Like, you know, especially like, dude, I swear to God, like, I swear, even from 18 to 23, my body's like, reacts differently, like from like when I wake up in the morning. Like I used to be able to get fucked and like wake up at like whatever, like 10, and I was like, I felt like kind of shit, but I was fine. Yeah. Versus like now, dude, if I get like that and then try to wake up in the morning, like it's like
it's impossible.
I got the liquid IVs too, bro. I got the fucking electrolytes, like I can't bounce back like that, even just in those like short years. So,
it's impossible. When I was 17 and 18, I would wake up and skateboard like within a few hours of waking up. Yeah. Now it's like if I have a bad hangover, it's a couple days. Of just being immobile.
Dude, I feel that. And so I've kind of like I've learned some, and you know, just in general trying to in times when I feel like running towards that pleasure, sort of more so looking at, you know, what it is that's making me feel like I need to run towards that. Yeah. And I think a lot of times that has to do with, you know, me just needing to like take a step back and like show myself some love. Yeah. And, like self-love is so important to me right now. And like one of the things I'm really working hard at is like showing myself love, like treating myself with the same respect that I feel like I treat other people, you know. Like I feel like I have a lot of patience with other people. I always like try to respect everyone that I come across and like treat them with the level of dignity and stuff. And I think so many times like we don't do that with ourselves. Yeah. And I think that's one of the biggest things I've learned is like, how do I translate that into like being patient with myself, like taking time and not feeling like I always have to deliver some product, like or deliver some sort of, you know, performance, whether that be in my like school career, you know, my relationships with my friends or romantic relationships or music, whatever. And I feel like I've been happier for it because, you know, like I cut myself some slack. I try to get outside when I can, you know.
That's a big one, dude. Yeah, getting some sunlight, good outdoors.
Sunlight,
and
dude.
Yeah, that sunlight on your skin. It's really good for your fucking brain.
Yeah. So I've been trying to, you know, just I've been trying to to pull towards me like the things that I feel like are gonna serve me in the long term.
Yeah.
Like really, and I'm not perfect at it like at all.
No,
I
but
know
no one is.
Yeah. I think that's the thing. No one is. It's just like a day by day thing. Some days are better than others.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And that's cool. Like a younger version of myself would do stuff that benefit like me right now.
Mm-hmm.
But now at this age, I focus on my future self more. Like if I do these things today, my future self will benefit.
Mm-hmm.
Assuming my future self will be here, but that's a different story.
Yeah.
But I try and do stuff that'll benefit a future me. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to drink tonight. I'm not going to smoke weed tonight and feel a little more anxious tomorrow, because that typically happens
Yeah.
with me and weed is
Right.
if I get high too much, I start to get more anxious. And then
Right.
my mood will be more like this.
Yeah.
Same with drinking. If I drink the next day, the hangover day, I'm also anxious.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if I stay sober, I've been sober for almost 8 months.
Oh,
I'm
man,
more
congrats,
in the middle.
Yeah.
And it's a lot. And it's not like I quit drinking and doing the edibles. I just did sober October, which I do all the time. Just this year, I just didn't stop.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to spoil. Actually, I'm not going to say that. I'll tell you off mic.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a thing. I might have already spoiled it on the pod. Shout out. If you know, you know. But yeah, I just have a regimen where like I try and work out 3 days a week. I have my work schedule. I like to play PlayStation. I like to make the little music videos that I make.
Mm-hmm.
And I know if I eat edibles, I'm going to be groggy in the morning. I'm not going to wake up early and work out. I know if I drink, I'm going to feel like shit the next day. I'm not going to want to do anything extra. So it's just been very beneficial to stay straight and narrow.
Yeah, man. No, congrats on that. And
Thank you.
I feel like one of the things that what you were saying rings so true with me is like the foresight thing. Like it feels so good to like sort of it can even be like very soon in the future. Like for me, like making my bed.
Yeah.
Like if I have the foresight to be like, I know like I got this and this and this today. I know when I come home, I'm gonna want to come home to my clean room.
Yeah, dude.
And my made bed and peel that back and slide in that bitch. Like
that's a huge one that gets
dude.
slept on, no pun intended.
Yeah.
But people really sleep on making their bed because it really it starts the day off in such a nice way. And like you just said, coming home to a made bed, you're like, when you peel it back and get in bed, dude, it's different than laying into a messy bed.
Right. And I think that foresight is something that has come for me with age. Is like, trying to apply that in other parts of my life, like whether it be booking gigs early out. So I know, it's going to feel really nice when I come up to this month and like I have all these gigs planned and, it's not like I'm scrambling to find stuff or, planning, like my, like with social media, like trying to do, record like a bunch of videos in one day so I don't have to do it every week and try and post them or whatever. Like, just like little things that I can do that I know that I'm gonna be really happy that I did in the end. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think the foresight thing has been really beneficial to me, and I've been seeing that more and more. Like I said, as I get older, just like the older that I get, the more foresight I tend to have,
and that's super cool to be 23 and like kind of have that in you already, especially being someone that's in the music scene as much as you, because a lot of people don't get that by 23. Is that wisdom.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I mean, I think I just have so many good people around me, man, and there's a lot of people, like people in particular that I could like think of who have changed my life for the better, and that I've learned so much from and have kind of led me down this path of sort of feeling like more in touch with myself, and I don't know, just overall, like I feel like such a happier person than I was like even like 2 years ago, where I feel like I was really scrambling, for attention and for, affirmation that what I was doing was good enough, you know, and like just trying to have this sort of confidence in myself to now like just lean into what it is that I know feels good and feels right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think we all have so much more, like so much better intuition than we think we do.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of times so much easier to follow what people like think we should be doing or say like they're doing or whatever. And like at the end of the day, like we have to lean into like what makes us, what makes us happy. I think for me, one of my biggest things with that has been honesty, dude. Like being honest.
I love honesty,
dude. Being honest with other people, like brutally honest, like, and never like, I'm never like mean or whatever, but it's just like I'll like tell people how I'm feeling, like tell people where my intentions are, and that has been so good for me because like it's also allowed me to be more honest with myself. I feel like in a way where it's like I don't hide from like what it is that I'm feeling that I want to do or want, because I feel like it's going to upset somebody, and I'm just really like communicative with people.
Yeah.
In like all aspects. I mean, romantically has been a huge one for me, because I haven't always historically been like the most honest in the romantic sort of construct. So like that has been a big learning thing for me and led to like much healthier relationships with people, and like, but also like outside of that, just like career wise, that was a big one too, especially like when I had a lot of people like sort of peeking in and like trying to like push me into like doing this thing or like dressing this, or even like dressing this way when I play or like whatever, and just to have the sort of like courage to be like, this is not what I want or like what I want to do. It's been great for me.
Yeah, dude, that's fucking awesome, man. And like one of the hardest things to say is no, or I don't really want to do that. Like in any type of scenario, it's one of the hardest things to say, but sometimes you have to. You really do have to. But with all that being said, like trying to grow as an artist, is the fact that you absolutely have to do social media, is that like a pretty stressful thing?
Yeah, man. One of my biggest like, because it sucks, man. It's just social media has changed the game, and in some ways I guess you could say it makes it a little bit easier to reach people he might not have reached before, but at the same time it's really hard because number one, it's just like terrible for your mental health.
So bad, dude.
Constantly like comparing yourself to other people based on like these numbers that really mean nothing, and that's like my biggest qualm with it, I think, is that we fight so much to get like all these numbers, but at the end of the day, like those numbers like do not equate to real connections,
Yeah.
Like and honestly it can be the opposite. Like some of the people with like the highest numbers on social media are probably the people who are really lacking real true connection and like true love, like removed from what they have to offer to these people, as opposed to like people who might not have as much. Like, so I think it comes with a lot more problems, and like it's been hard for me too because I think with like the streaming and stuff, like my numbers are not like where I feel like they should be.
Yeah.
Whatever that means, I don't really know where they should be. I'm fairly new to releasing music in the grand scheme of things. Been doing it a little bit over a year now, and not like consistently or anything, but it's just like I can get so disappointed, especially being in a place with so many other musicians where I watch people drop songs and stuff and get like 500 streams in like the first like day.
That's wild, dude.
And so it's like it can be hard, man. I do a lot of like comparing myself to other people.
Same.
Something that I'm trying to work on, but that's a hard one for me. It's just like understanding that other people's success does not mean my failure. But and then just like also the energy side of it, like I spend so much time just checking my phone. I feel like I live in my phone sometimes, and I to make the videos and stuff, I feel like takes a lot of time. And then not only that, but then like just to post them, like to write all the little like captions or whatever, and then like try and like post it on time or whatnot. Like now I've been scheduling my posts, so it's a little bit easier. I can schedule it when I have time, so that if I'm busy at the time I want to post it, it just posts. But yeah, just like trying to think of stuff to make. And one thing that I'm trying to adopt now is like one thing I'm learning is that I don't necessarily really think that quality, as far as like camera quality and editing quality of the stuff that you make, especially if you're just trying to promote music, I don't think it matters that much at the end of the day. It could give you a little bit of an edge, like depending on like who you're presenting to. But like honestly, the type of people who I think really vibe with my music are gonna like be there for, they're not gonna be there for like fancy edits or like high quality looking stuff. They're gonna be there for like the type of people at least that I really am making music for, I feel like are gonna be there for like a lot more than that anyways. So like we were talking about earlier, like too, like I can't remember what it was that we were talking about, but I was basically just gonna say like I really think the route that I want to take now is like growing my fan base slowly, you know, as opposed to trying to do it fast, because I think the slower and more like genuinely I do it is gonna lead to the most loyal and like I think most like fulfilling fan base for me.
I was just about to say that.
You know?
The loyalty of the fan base you get that you build slow
Mm-hmm.
is unlike anything
Yeah.
else.
Yeah, because like it's gonna be people that really like enjoy what I do, and people that I really feel like it will fulfill me more, you know,
Yeah.
to know that like you can play like, you know, you can play for like 1,000,000 people in a stadium or whatever, but like, you know, at the end of the day, like I would rather have a smaller audience, but like one that I really feel like is getting something out of what I'm doing,
Yeah.
and like is being moved by what I have to present to them. And you know, yeah.
And when you have that type of fan base, you can make the art that you want. Like, there are
Exactly.
artists who have 2 million fans, but they can't be true to themselves as an artist because they have a fear of losing their fan base.
Right. And that's why like now, dude, like I'm already like I didn't even really have like that much of a following, but I'm already feeling like the stress of like people like saying that like I should like make this or do this or
Yeah.
change this. And I'm like, dude, if I can't fucking make art that's true to myself now,
Yeah.
there's no way that I'm ever gonna be able to be like, you know, have any sort of like big, you know, like large scale success and be true to myself.
Yeah.
So it's like it's more important to me than ever that right now I just remain myself and like make music that moves me. And it's only gonna get harder, you know, from here, I feel like.
Yeah. I think you're on a really good path, dude, especially being so young. You're finishing school. I think you're on a good path, dude.
Oh, thanks, man.
Also, do you have a name for the new album?
Yeah, it's called Patience.
Patience. That's
Yeah.
fucking tight.
Yeah, man. And it has been like that whole theme of sort of me taking time with myself, taking time to be like, not everything comes in a day, you know, like this thing is for the long haul. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like I gotta like just take it as it comes and try and figure it out. And yeah, it's been a huge like part of my life lately.
Hell yeah,
just
dude.
being patient with everything around me.
That's so sick. Do you have a album art concept yet?
No, actually, I need to figure that out. I don't.
There's so many artists out there, or you can
Yeah.
just take a picture or something.
Yeah. I love the just like pictures of like
Yeah.
stuff that means something to me, you know. Yeah, definitely like places that I enjoy or whatever. And I don't really know how the bathtub. I gotta pick. I did like a bathtub thing for the first single, and it's kind of cool. See, I'm the type of person too. Like I'm so sentimental. Like I'll find meaning in everything.
Yeah.
For that instance, like for me, that's like the bathtub in my Boston apartment, which is like huge sentimental place for me. First time I've ever lived away from home, not in a dorm, you know. And like so that's kind of like what that means to me. It's like that bathtub is like takes me back to, you know,
Hell yeah.
this is this apartment that I learned so much in and like grew so much in and like whatever. But yeah, I think about the art, man. I don't know. It'll probably end up just being a picture of me somewhere that's special to me, you know.
Hell yeah. And are you gonna mix and master it yourself again?
I am, yeah.
Do-
I don't even know if I'll master it.
I don't
honestly.
even really. I say the word,
Mhm.
but I don't really know what it means.
Yeah. Well, mixing is more from a like the mix engineer is gonna deal with like the whole multi-track, so every aspect of, you know, like the drums, the mics, the, you know, instruments, the whatever. He's gonna mix like the levels of those, versus like the mastering engineer is gonna get the track already mixed,
Yeah.
but he's gonna apply like processing to the whole track as a whole. So like doing some EQ, but not to like each individual instrument, but the whole mix as a whole is going to be affecting. It's more honestly now, man, it's a thing of like volume. Like that's a huge part of what mastering engineers do, is they try to get the track to like a certain volume level. I personally don't really want to master my stuff, because like when you get your stuff mastered, at least a lot of times for me, I like the natural sound, and like when you get it mastered, a lot of times it's really compressed. So while it is getting louder, it's also getting less dynamic. Yeah. Because they're really compressing it down to get it to like just to where it's like not peaking and not distorting, but it's like takes away all the nuance of the, you know. I would rather compromise like a little bit of that volume. Like people can always just people have to turn it up like whatever. But like it has the sort of warmth and the tone that I want it to have, you know.
I listened to the EP and the singles with my AirPod Pros, and it sounded fucking wonderful, dude.
Thanks, man. I think the EP, it's crazy though, because I really feel like there was a huge jump between like the EP and my single, because the single, man, has been like, I'm really proud of that mix, just because like that one, I've learned so much, especially this semester, more than ever about mixing. So I really took a lot of time, not even like took a lot of time with that one, but just I approached it with so much more knowledge than I had about mixing, like with the EP. My philosophy on mixing, and one thing that I always tell people is like, especially if you're your own artist, like just mixing your stuff, I say just like do what you can and release it, man. Because like the thing is, at the end of the day, if it can move you and like it feels good, like even if there's some stuff that you wish you were like better at doing or whatever, if it can move you and like it can move other people, that's like kind of my philosophy. Like I don't know if you like the song I Feel Good Inside. There's a part where I just start singing gibberish. And originally that was on the demo, and I hadn't written the words for that part yet. Yeah. But then I was like in the bus or something one day listening to that, and I got to the gibberish part, and I was just like doing this to it. And then I stopped and I was like, wait. Yeah, dude. If this can make me feel good, and like I'm not saying anything, bro. I'm just like a bounce and take a big dun dun. Like if I can feel that from this, then like other people can too. Yeah. So I was like, I'm just gonna drop it like that. And that's kind of the philosophy I've taken with mixing now, is I do what I can at the level that I'm at, and I release it. And I think there's something beautiful about like 50 years down the line, one day I'll be able to go listen to all this stuff and listen to where I was at, you know? Yeah. Like now I listen to One More Night with You, and honestly the mix is kind of like, it's kind of bad in terms of like from a commercial standpoint. Yeah. But I love the character that's there. I hear myself in that, you know, like it's like a whole nother level of, like sort of my personality coming through, is that like this is where I was at this point in my life. And there's a character to that sound that feels like nostalgic to me. Yeah. And had it been released by somebody that I paid a bunch of money to, that I don't even fucking know, like paid them a bunch of money to make this perfect, like I don't think it would have suited this song, first of all, but then also I don't think it would have like felt like me. Yeah. It wouldn't have felt like as genuine as it does to me now that I go back and listen to it. So
that's cool that you say that, because one of my favorite aspects of my favorite artist, Tyler the Creator, is he has that throughout his discography. Like if you listen to the Bastard album, it's what it was for the time, but then you listen to Igor and it's produced so much better. There's the like the music in it is so much better. He's in a way different place in his life. So seeing that evolution in his career is a really fucking cool thing, and it's one of my favorite things to know about him. So when you say you want that for your own career, I think it's pretty fucking tight.
Thanks, man. And it's funny that you say that, because actually somebody who works really closely with Tyler the Creator now is one of my favorite mix engineers of all time. His name's Neil Pogue. He did like a lot of Outkast stuff. He works pretty closely with like Killa Yacinthe and
I love Killa Yacinthe
and Steve Lacy now.
Wow,
and he's
dude.
done like a lot of the newer Tyler the Creator records too. Yeah, like one of my favorite mix engineers. So yeah,
that's fucking awesome.
Neil Pogue, he's really, really good.
Neil Pogue.
Yeah.
Damn, dude. I think is there anything you wanted to say that I haven't asked?
Not off the top of my head, but just thanks for having me, bro. I appreciate it.
Dude, I'm honored to fucking have you on. I think this is a great episode. If the audio's fucked up, I'm probably going to drive into a ditch.
Nah, dude, I'm sure it'll be fine.
It looks fine.
Yeah.
But
anytime, bro. Anytime, yeah. And I appreciate you, like, just like I was saying, you know, it's hard sometimes, like, people don't want to see you like change and stuff, and there are people in this community you have, and I consider you one of those, and like that means the world to me, man, because just out here trying to be myself and learn what makes me tick. And, you know,
Yeah.
so people who support me through all that, man, I just have so much respect for you. So
Hell yeah, dude. It's very mutual. I've been a fan for a long time, dude.
thank you, man.
The guitar playing is fucking, and the singing too. That was a song actually where I took a note on how much I like the singing. I don't remember which one it was, but it was just background vocals that I fucking love so much. I don't remember which one it was, but I don't know. Shit's awesome. I'm proud of you, dude.
Thank you, man.
I remember when you told me you were going to Boston, I was like, holy shit, that's
Yeah.
fucking insane.
It's weird because I feel like I remember, like, it wasn't that long ago even that I was like, oh, yeah. And then when I got there, it was like a shock, you know, just like, not even like culture shock like we were talking about before, but just like existential, you know,
Yeah.
like I'd never been that far from home alone. And then I'm just like, oh my God, I'm in this city. Like,
Hell yeah.
and now I've been there 2 years, man. It was
Yeah.
just crazy. About to start my 3rd year. So yeah.
Damn, dude. So, do you want to plug your stuff one last time?
Yeah, Eli Yacinthe Music, Spotify, Instagram.
Spell your last name.
Check it out. Oh yeah, my last name is Yacinthe. So yeah, make sure to check it out. But thank you so much for having me, bro. I
Hell
appreciate
yeah,
you, man.
dude.
Yes, sir.
Hell yeah,
Yes, sir.
dude. This was real as hell. Thanks, buddy. Love you.
Love you too, man. Peace.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
I've seen the face of an angel. She lives an ordinary life not far from mine. Not sure if her heart is on the table, but her heart is all that's on my mind. Never have I seen one so divine. Time, tell me if her heart was meant for mine, 'cause it's all I can do is falling into you. Hey, I've seen the face of an angel, and it's all that I can do not to lose my worried ways. 'Cause in her love and all her beauty, I've seen a sign of brighter days. Seen the future in her loving gaze. When she sings to me, her heart is filled with joy, it's ecstasy, and it's all I can do. I can't stop this falling into you.
Now, if any of you sons of bitches got anything else to say, now's the fucking time! I didn't think so. 今日はこれまでにしましょう。